let's understand something. The marriage vows mean nothing. You know why? Those marriage vows are as good as the people who make them. And if somebody lied at the altar, it becomes apparent over time. Come on, ladies, let's do better.
She's a lady, she has class. She's a lady taboo.
Hello, my darlings. If this is your first time, I am your lady TGA. If you have not subscribed, what are you waiting for? I'm waiting. Kindly hit that subscription button. So, I received an email that got me kind of sad. It got me kind of sad. Let me just go straight ahead and read it. Dear Lady TGA, I hope this meets you well. I know men cheat, but there are good men. I have never cheated, but I found out my wife, the one I gave my heart and self to, cheated on me. I'm going through pain, anger, and a cocktail of emotions. She's sorry, but to what end? My situation is bad because I cannot discuss it with anyone. My friends will want me to leave her. I am not sure that is what I want to do. She has tried to commit suicide. My family will hate her if I tell them, and we may never have a good relationship again, as my mother loves her so much and thinks she is the best thing that happened to our family. I am a man, but I am terribly hurt. Who do I admit it to? Please, women need to know that men have feelings. Men get hurt too. What is the point of cheating when you have a good, loving, and caring provider that is monogamous? Just the other day, it was my friend's fiancé that was caught cheating. Women need to stop. Why are women like this? I am hurting terribly, and I am not sure I want to stay. Sometimes I think I will, other times I don't. Mr. M. Wow. Now you understand why I felt really sad. Before I start, I'm sorry that you or anyone else for that matter had to go through this. I felt the pain in his words through just by reading the letter. And I don't know. Truly, women, we need to do better. Mr. M, you're very brave and I appreciate your vulnerability. I know the stigma or kind of stigma that there is to men showing vulnerability or men saying they were hurt. I'm sorry for whatever pain it is that you are going through. I cannot even begin to imagine the magnitude of pain you're going through, because just by reading your letter, I could feel the emotions. I could feel the emotions. So I'm sorry, and I pray that you find a way to manage this, because sincerely I like pause. Just by reading your mail, I felt the raw emotions. I do not wish this kind of pain on anybody. And to any other man out there that has been cheated on by his wife or significant other, I want to say sorry. Sorry seems to be such an insignificant word, but at least it's something. I don't know. But before I go on, I want to say to Mr. M that I applaud your bravery. In a society that stigmatizes men showing vulnerability, somehow you were really raw in this email. I felt it. I felt your pain, and I'm sorry. But I'm proud of you that you were able to move past that stigma, at least send a mail to share this with somebody. And that's the thing, a lot of men are going through pain. A lot of men have been cheated on. A lot of men are dying from the pain, the agony of being cheated on. But they can't talk. Like he said, he cannot tell his friends because his friends will, okay, in his own case, it's not like the friends will laugh at him. In his own case, is that the friends may tell him to leave the wife, and he doesn't want to leave. In fact, he's confused because he said sometimes he wants to leave and sometimes he wants to stay. He thinks he wants to stay. And then he cannot even discuss with his family, to share this burden with him, because his family, especially his mother, sees his wife as the best thing that happened to their family. I just want to say to Mr. M and every other man that is battling with the trauma of infidelity, that has been cheated on by his wife or his significant other, and is able to talk to somebody about it, because it is important that you talk to somebody about it. You can't bottle up such pain, such trauma. I just want to say to those of you who have been brave enough to share it with somebody, the right people, I want to say that I'm proud of you. Because in a society that glamorizes emotional disassociation in men, then you're able to talk about it to somebody. You move past the stigma and you're able to talk about it to somebody. I want to say kudos to you, and I'm sorry for whatever pain that you're going through. You asked a lot of questions and I don't have all the answers, and I don't know why your wife did what she did. I don't know. I wouldn't know, because I think whatever be her reason might be different from the reason another woman will give. But whatever is the reason, I want you to know it wasn't your fault. The worst thing you or any other person that has been cheated on will do to themselves is to take the blame or to start questioning themselves if they were at fault in any way. I know and I hear it often that it takes two to tango. Yes, you can maybe ask yourself, is there something that you could have done differently? Is there something that you didn't notice or you should have paid closer attention to? It's different from blaming yourself for the affair, because having an affair or cheating on somebody is a choice. It is a choice, because two people might be going through about the same thing and they will take different routes to get a solution. It is not your fault. Do not blame yourself. This email that I received got me quite emotional. It raised a lot of questions that I had no answers to. And so I started asking questions of my own, and I got some answers. Someone wrote, "My girlfriend went out and cheated on me with an ex this weekend. She did this with him when we first started getting to know each other and expressing feelings for each other. She had only told me about that 2 weeks ago. One of the hardest things in my life. I miss making dinner together, unwinding after long work days, walking our dogs, getting ice cream together, karaoke in the car. So I cut things off and here I am." The next one reads, "It's even worse when you have a baby with he used the B word, and she constantly runs back to the people she promised she wouldn't run back to. I want to leave, but the thought of my daughter crying for her daddy just tears my soul apart. I'm going through this right now. It's easy to say I'm out, but much harder to do it. It's the worst pain I've ever felt. I feel betrayed, humiliated, with thousands of unanswered questions. I just found out my wife of 2 years cheated on me 5 years ago with my neighbor, and it hurts like an arrow through the heart. I have no idea what to do. Wow. It seems this is the norm for quite a lot of women. I don't know when we got to this point, but with the kind of responses that I received, it seems it's now a norm for women to cheat on their spouses. I don't know how we as a society got to this point, and it is really sad. Like, why cheat on your husband or your significant other? Instead of cheating, the best thing to do is to leave, because you do not understand the pain, the trauma that you're causing the other person by your deliberate action. Instead of cheating, why don't you leave? Because cheating is very selfish. If you're having a problem with your significant other, why don't you throw the line of communication? Talk to him, tell him what he ought to do or where he ought to improve. And to the men, perhaps this is the time to ask those uncomfortable questions. You ask yourself, am I doing what I ought to do in my relationship? What is it that I need to do to improve my relationship? This is not to in any way trivialize cheating, because for some people, it doesn't matter what you do, they will still go ahead and cheat because they are that selfish. That's the truth. This man's story is really sad, but it reminds me of something that happened. You know, he said that he has been good to her, that he's a good provider, and well, right now we don't have any reason not to believe him. But this reminds me of something that happened when I was growing up. You know, during the holidays, we used to attend summer classes. There's extra classes during the holidays. So there's this retired principal that used to organize those summer classes for students, and I was enrolled with other students in her program. It was a huge compound with, I think, about 3 flats there and a very big space. So we used to go there during the holiday to take classes there. In one of the flats, the woman's tenant, one of the flats, there was a couple, a man and a woman. The man goes to work and comes back. That's by the time we get to the summer class, the man will just play with us, and that's about the time the class would want to start. He'll play with us and he will now go to work and come back later in the day, much later in the day. We noticed something. As little as we were then, we noticed something. Every day that we were going for those classes, we noticed that he will go to work, his wife will see him to the door. Remember I said that this was a big compound where we had enough space, but his flat was directly opposite the space where we were carrying out the summer classes. The summer classes were carried out in the open, just at the corner. And then you will see this man in the mornings. He will be going to work. His wife will come to the door to lock after he leaves, and then he goes to work. But on his way, he will say hi to us, he'll play with us, he'll ask us our names and everything, you know, ruffle our hair, stuff like that. So naturally we were drawn to him. He was a friendly man. So we'll just be shouting, uncle, 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 good morning, uncle, good morning, uncle, bye, you know, stuff like that. And then he'll go to work. Just before we are through for the day from our summer classes, he'll go back from work, he'll play with us again. Sometimes he'll give us sweets and biscuits and, you know, stuff that kids will like, and we really liked him. What happened? The beginning of the summer classes to the end, that was a month and about maybe 6 weeks of summer classes that we had. The same routine. He goes to work, she closes the door, he comes back, she opens the door for him. But we noticed something. It was very small then, mind you, but we noticed something. That by the time he goes to work, it will not reach at least about an hour, if I'm to estimate, some other person comes to see her. It was the guy, and we felt it was the brother. Then we were too young, we didn't understand. We felt it was the brother, and so he will come, and just before he will come and he will leave, just before the uncle that we used to like, or that we liked, will come. Just before the uncle will come back, he has gone. But then our little minds were asking a lot of questions. Why is it that our brother is never there when the uncle is there? Why is it that her brother goes away before the uncle comes back? Or why is it that the uncle never meets with the brother? And even though that was playing on in my mind, and I'm sure some of the kids, by the time we started talking, we also noticed that this it was actually the retired principal that organized that summer classes for us, but she had somebody that was teaching us, another lady, and you will see how she will like be distracted anytime that guy comes to uncle's house. You see that she'll be distracted in her teaching, and she'll turn back like to look what's happening, what's going on. So we knew, as young as we were, we knew that something was happening. We couldn't place our fingers on it, but we knew that something unusual was going on. And so one day, Uncle left for work after saying hi to us, and then he said he was going to come with goodies. If I would place our order, you know, some people said they wanted tom-tom, you know, stuff like that. They wanted we just wanted candies, and so we told Uncle to get those stuffs for us. Lo and behold, he left. It didn't reach up to 30 minutes. Brother, let me call him brother for lack of words. Brother came, or for lack of a name, brother came in and knocked, and auntie opened for him. He stayed, and he still, just before Uncle came, he was leaving. But we noticed something that day. Just before he left, he put his hand through the door that was a bit open, and like hugged her. And in our innocent mind, we knew that that hug was in the hug of a brother and a sister. We knew. Somehow we knew. And we felt sad. And then, of course, the lady that was teaching us, we read her body language. She saw it, so she turned back, and it was quite uncomfortable. She felt when she was uncomfortable, it was showing, and we too, we didn't like it. Somehow we were sad. And somehow, without saying anything, there was this silent, how will I say, silent communication. I don't know if I would call it telepathy. Somehow she knew we were sad, she was sad too, and she tried to cheer us up, you know, and the lesson went on. Uncle came that day, he gave us stuff, but we took, and we were not that jovial as we used to be. He noticed, and he said, hey, what's wrong with you guys? He now told the teacher, he said, please don't give them so much hard work to do, you know, don't stress them, they are just little kids. And that was how he went back in. Now, one of the kids was having his birthday the next day. And so after class that day, when uncle had gone inside, naturally as we were all going home, we now started discussing what happened. And so the guy who's the kid whose birthday was the next day now said his mom was going to give him candy to bring for us in the class, but that he wants uncle to be part of it, and that he knows that auntie's brother meaning the guy that used to come to meet uncle's wife when uncle is not around. I don't know if you get the story. And so he said that he knows that auntie's brother would come, and that he wants to beg uncle to get him something for his birthday and come back from work early. And so we hatched a plan. When we all came the next morning, uncle greeted us, he played with us, and we deliberately, this particular morning we weren't sad, but we deliberately pretended like we were sad. And then he asked us and then he asked us what it was, because the day before he met us sad, but we couldn't tell him why. So we told him it was, that guy's name was Tusan. We told him that it was Tusan's birthday that day. And so he said, no problem, that he was going to get candy. We said no, that we wanted cupcakes, and that we were going to close early that day. He said that he wouldn't be able to leave work, so that if he could give auntie money to get it for us. We all knew that auntie wasn't going to get any cupcake for us, so we told him no, that we wanted him to do it. We started begging, uncle please, uncle please, uncle please. So he said, you know what, that he could come during his break and drop it for us instead of coming when he closes from work. That made our day. Even the teacher, the young lady that was teaching us, we could see that she was visibly happy. What happened? We're doing our work in class, but we weren't concentrating. We were just waiting for that break time. We didn't know when break time would be, but we understood that break time was going to be before uncle comes home finally. And we know that by then, we hoped rather by then, that brother will still be there. Lo and behold, we saw uncle coming. Brother had already come. He was inside. Uncle came. He gave us the cake and said he wanted to go. You know what happened? Tusana said, uncle, please, I want to drink water. So uncle asked him, didn't you come with your water bottle? That maybe I'll get somebody to get water for you. He said no, that he wants uncle to get water for him from the house. He said no, that he will be late, that he's just rushing back, he's going to rush back, that he just came from work just to drop the cakes. The teacher that was teaching us, the young lady, now told him that, sir, please, just give them water. You know they are children, just give them water from the house. Even if you buy for them, they're not going to value it the same way as the one that you bring from the house. Just give them water from the house so that they'll concentrate on their lessons. That was what happened. Uncle went to the door. He was knocking. Nobody answered. He knocked, and when the knock became persistent, auntie opened the door angrily, not knowing it was uncle, to say, why are you knocking? She probably thought it was one of us, or probably one of her neighbors, I don't know. And uncle was like, we saw the surprised look on his face. Like why she was being that aggressive. So he said he came home to get something, and he pushed the door open. We left while we were learning. We followed him to try to enter the house, and she closed the door. We opened the door, we entered. The teacher that was teaching us, she didn't stop us. She didn't. So we entered inside because we knew brother was there and we knew he would be in the house somewhere there. We entered inside. Uncle came to he went straight to the kitchen to open the fridge to get water. We knew where the bedroom was. Tosan did because Tosan was the last to enter, Tosan did pretended like he didn't know. We were smart then. We were smart. There were no computers then, but we were smart. We had that, I don't know what to call it, native intelligence. Uncle was going to get water from the fridge in the kitchen, give to us, and leave. But we knew that there was somebody in the house. And remember, we knew that auntie doesn't like us. It was only uncle that liked us. And we wanted to find out if really brother was her brother or somebody else. Because the day before, remember, we had seen brother embrace her. And it wasn't the kind of brotherly embrace that we expected. So Tosan ran straight to the bedroom and opened the door. And he shouted, "Uncle, I thought you were in here. See brother inside the house." And uncle came from the kitchen and asked us, "Where is Tosan?" We said he's in the bedroom, that it's like he's talking to somebody. He said no, that he can't be talking to somebody. We saw auntie, she ran quickly towards the bedroom. We all followed. Because we followed, uncle was even angry, like we're wasting his time. So he went to drag us out of the bedroom and he saw brother. The secret came out. We felt bad because we didn't want uncle to go through that kind of pain, but this had been going on for quite some time. Our summer classes was a month and about 2 weeks. That's about 6 weeks in total. And this was going on. This was going on. And this was, I think, the last week, the week before the end of summer classes. And he asked him, "Who are you? Who are you?" Now, little minds were like, "You don't even know him?" So one of them now said that it's brother, auntie's brother, that he keeps on coming. He comes every single day. The beating auntie gave to that boy that day was something else. But then there was a lot of commotion. He was angry. Uncle was angry with her, and you know, it was tough. We left because the teacher now called us that we should come and we should start going home. We came the next day. We didn't see uncle either in the morning or even when he was leaving. We didn't see uncle. Excuse me. We were scared to ask the teacher where uncle went to, and of course we were scared to go knock the door because we were scared, naturally scared of auntie. So we waited. Nothing happened. 3 days later, we saw uncle. He came in when we were about leaving with a big vehicle and was packing his things away. And we didn't want to miss uncle, so we were like, "Uncle, where are you going to? Why are you leaving us? Where are you packing to? What's happening?" And he said, "Oh, we're too young to understand." Wow. We knew what was happening. We didn't know exactly how to explain it, but we knew that auntie had done something auntie had done something she shouldn't have done to uncle. And auntie hated us. That after that day we'll greet her, she won't respond. But you know what happened? And uncle packed the things that he wanted to pack and went away. She was actually begging, but he didn't respond. He packed and went away. 1 week after, we still had a week and some days. 1 week after, now she had a chance, the house to herself. Brother didn't come. Either that brother that we used to see or another brother. None of them came. And she didn't go out to meet anybody because she was always in the house. In fact, now she would sit at the balcony and maybe she would be washing or doing something, you know. She was not going out or entertaining any brother again. As I grew up, I came to understand quite a lot of things, especially concerning that incident. This email just gave me a kind of flashback to that incident. Why was she cheating on him? Why was Auntie cheating on Uncle when they were still together? Now Uncle had left, she has the freedom to cheat, to bring in anybody she wanted to bring into the house. But she wasn't doing that. She now had the freedom to go out there and get somebody or meet somebody. But for the 1 week and some days that were remaining that we had to spend there in that summer classes, she never went out. So I wonder, is it sweeter to cheat when you are with somebody? Is it sweeter to exploit someone's vulnerability? Is it sweeter to be selfish in a situation you ought not to be? And then when that situation turns around, you have the opportunity to do what you want to do. Since you're no longer accountable to somebody, you don't do it. It is tough. And this is not just the women alone, even men do it. But right now we're talking about women, because you read his email with me, or you heard it when I was reading it. His wife cheated. Sometimes he feels like leaving, and sometimes he feels like staying. It's trauma that he's passing through. It is not an easy thing when your significant other chooses to cheat, because cheating is a choice. I'd say, let's communicate. You should call her and they should talk about it. What happened? Because a relationship where communication is absent, that is just, it's a matter of time that cheating will occur. Have you or someone close to you ever been cheated on, either male or female? I'd like to hear your, I'd like to read your comments below. If you or someone close to you have been cheated on, what happened? What was the end result? How did it end? And what is the person going through? Or if it was you, what are you going through? Were you able to heal from it? Because it is traumatic. You don't put somebody else in that situation. You know, it's all fun and games until somebody gets hurt. It's all fun and games until you are responsible for the pain, the trauma someone is going through. We can do better. We can do better. You do not have to stay in that marriage. You do not have to stay in that relationship. If you feel the person that's outside is better than your spouse, then by all means go. Go. Don't behave like auntie. You stay, you're cheating on him, you're cheating on uncle. And then when uncle left, you didn't cheat again. Like, I want to be able to understand the rationale behind this. Is it that some people like inflicting pains on others and they would like to see you watch them? Like for them, is they're on a stage acting and you should be the spectator and see your soul get crushed, because it doesn't make sense. For one weekend, she had the time, because she knew uncle wasn't coming back. She had the time to call brother or whoever, but she had the time to go out and meet them, and she didn't. So why do it in the first place? If you're having problems in your marriage, perhaps he's not giving you the attention that you need. Perhaps he's not treating you the way you feel you ought to be treated. Instead of cheating, why don't you call your husband? Why don't you call your significant other and try to communicate? Because this talk must be had. As uncomfortable as it is, tell the person where the person needs to improve. And that does not, assuming the person does not even improve, that does not justify cheating, because you have a choice. You have a choice to live. You cannot be selfish and inflict pain because someone is not living up to expectation. Tell the person where to improve. If the person is not doing it and you feel you can't take it, before you walk out that door to go cheat, or in Auntie's case, open the door to go cheat, why don't you leave instead? Because the pain you inflict is a permanent pain. And for a man, they don't talk about it because society sees it like a stigma, a taboo for a man to say he has been hurt by a woman. Like in a way, it's as if it reduces his manliness. That's the way society has made it. So society only gratifies gratifies it when a man displays emotional distance and not emotional vulnerability. Like it makes you less of a man when you let someone know, or when you let the world know that your wife is hurting you, or your wife has hurt you, or that your wife forced you, your wife cheated on you. Because even for a lot of men to express that they are head over heels in love with their wife, it's like somehow society looks at it that, oh, this is not a hard man anymore, like he's now soft or something like that. You don't have to hurt somebody. The pain that infidelity leaves, it stays forever. He's confused now. The one who sent me the email. Sometimes he feels like leaving, sometimes he wants to stay, but one thing is certain: whether he leaves or not, the trauma stays with him, the pain stays with him, the sleepless night stays with him. Why? Because of that one action that could have been prevented. Women, we ought to do better. What about the other reactions that I read from others who sent in what had happened to them? Someone was going out with her ex. Someone was with an ex, and she met a new person. She actually left the ex to be with that new person. While she was with that new person, she would go behind and have stuff to do with the ex until the new person caught her. So why leave him the first place? Or since you now see that he's okay, your ex is okay, what are you still doing with the present? No, we can't eat our cake and have it and treat people like they don't matter. People matter. It is somebody's heart that you are playing with. You don't just treat people the way it pleases you. By the time you want to be selfish, think, just think for once how it's going to hurt the other person. You see, the other one I read, he said he does not think he'll be able to love again. The other one said it has hardened him. Your actions has a boomerang effect, because what you think is fun hurts someone, and the person in turn goes on to hurt the other person, and the other person goes on to hurt the next person, and the cycle continues. So, sir, Mr. M, I do not have the answers. Perhaps I leave it to the tribe. Please comment below your advice. What should he do? What should he do? Sometimes he wants to stay, he feels like staying, and sometimes he feels like leaving. What should he do? Should he stay? Should he leave? One thing I know is that nobody can tell anybody to leave or to stay. Somehow in you, you know. Only you know your hurts. Only you know what you can take and what you cannot tolerate. But first, find a place in your heart to forgive. Because at the end of the day, you are not forgiving her alone. You're freeing yourself from the pain, or at least making the effort to free yourself from the pain of being betrayed. So just find a way to forgive her and get that talk with her. Sit her down. Find out why she did it. Is there a void she's trying to fill? Are you lacking in any way? And like I said, that is not an excuse in any way for anybody to cheat. But just have that uncomfortable conversation. It will help you to come to that, to get that closure and make that decision that you need to make. Once again, hurt people hurt other people. If you choose to leave, I hope you don't go hurting the next person. If you choose to stay, please heal from the pain. Talk about it. Let her make a promise. He said she wanted to commit suicide, and so I think, I might be wrong, I think maybe she thoroughly regrets it. She thoroughly regrets her action. Was it the first time this has happened? Is she a habitual cheat? From your email, I didn't get that. But is this a one-off thing? What led to it? Where was it committed? Was it like uncle and auntie's mom that happened right in their matrimonial home? No, there are a lot of circumstances that you need to look at to get that closure and make the decision that you need to make. From your mail, I don't know if there are kids involved. Though with kids involved, it's not an excuse, because sometimes people say, oh, I would have left if not for the kids involved. And sometimes people say, oh, I stayed because of the kids. But first and foremost, you married yourselves first before the kids came. And children should not even stay in a toxic environment or atmosphere. But if you are able to come to a compromise and you're able to live in peace, you're able to go past this infidelity, there is every chance that you come out stronger. You come out stronger. in your next relationship, or in this one, I'll call it the next phase of your relationship, you understand each other better. She's filled with regrets. She shouldn't have done what she did. And you two now understand the place you were lacking. You make amends. Like I said, it's not your fault. It's a choice. For she to cheat, it was her choice. It had nothing to do with what you did or what you did not do. But I'm talking about improving the relationship in general. So moving forward, you guys understand each other better and know what to do. In those days while I was growing up, apart from this auntie's case, it was an anathema for a woman to cheat. What was rampant then was guys cheating, was the male folk cheating, not women. It was a taboo for a woman to cheat. It was done because I don't think it just started. It was done, but it's something to be ashamed of. Like society ostracizes a woman when she does it. But after reading your mail and I had my questions to ask, the answers I got show that at least 8 in every married woman would cheat. Just 2 that would not. And it's scary. It's scary because the woman is the one that impacts on the child more. So it's scary. Like if your values, your moral values are twisted, what is it that you're going to impact on the children, on your children, your girl child or the boy child? It's tough. Women, we ought to do better. We ought to do better. The marriage vows mean nothing. Absolutely nothing. The marriage vows mean nothing. It is as good as the people that made those vows. So when you were making those vows, did you really mean it? Then what happened? What happened? Those vows as good as the individuals who made them, because it will expose what was said at the altar, if it was a lie or if it was the truth. I do, till death do us part, keeping to you only, in sickness and in health. The vows mean nothing. The marriage vows mean nothing. They are only as good as the people who made them. It is sending you love and light, and that you be intentional. Be intentional, because broken people hurt others. Heal from your pain, that you don't go hurting some other person. Before you get married, have a soul search. You need to go through therapy. Go through therapy. Heal yourself, so you don't go into marriage and you end up hurting an innocent soul. The pain is worse than the most painful surgery. Be intentional in your loving. Be intentional in your actions. Selfishness only brings pain. After the act, what happens? After the instant gratification, what happens? What happens? just that instant gratification, and you end up hurting someone for a lifetime. Women, we ought to do better. We ought to do better. Be intentional. Yes, sending love and light to all the men out there that have been cheated on. Stay strong, and I pray that you heal from whatever pain you're going through. Stay blessed. You are worthy, and it was never your fault. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button so that by the time we put out more videos, you'll be the first to be aware as you hit that notification bell. Stay safe and stay